The first character I played in this campaign was actually a dwarf named Keviak, and for legal and spiritual reasons I've elected not to talk about him because it was a dark time, it was a dark place, I did dark things, and I think we all just kind of felt dirty when I was playing him. But anyway, the character that I played that I am going to talk about was named Thomas, and I wanted Thomas to be sort of like a sheriff, and I thought that a sheriff should have a gun, but not just any gun, a rifle. But our DM Alex said that I couldn't have one. It doesn't exist, he says. And I said, well, what if it was like a magical rifle instead? And he looked at me suspiciously because he knows that when I find loopholes, it is seldom not an excuse to do something inhumane. But I don't know, he's not feeling particularly imaginative, so he says okay. Which was a mistake, because here's what I did. Instead of having a normal gun, I had an arcane cannon. It was like a flintlock rifle, except that you don't use gunpowder and bullets. Instead, I had a sack of fairies, and I reach into the sack of fairies, and I pull one out, kicking and screaming, and I shove it into the barrel of the cannon. And you know, for authenticity purposes, and to make it seem more like a normal gun, I kind of want to emulate that process. So I cram the unwilling fairy into the opening of the cannon, and I take my ramrod, and I just kind of jam the fairy in there. A series of quick jabbing motions. With the fairy loaded into the cannon, I pull the trigger, and a spell fires out of the end of the cannon. Class-wise, I was actually a sorcerer. This was just the horrible, inhumane mechanic that I devised to achieve that end. Where did I get the fairies? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It was a flavor thing. I had a limitless supply as far as I can remember. Who knows, maybe I had some kind of horrible fairy work camp where I took the firstborn of every family and had it live out its young life in the dark confines of my ammo sack, only to meet its grim demise at the end of my ramrod. So that was Thomas.